who's next? With Sean O'Malley taking his second consecutive loss against Merab Dvalishvili at UFC 316, but it leaves the question where Sean can go from here and who he can fight next to possibly get back into the title picture. So this is what's actually next for Sean O'Malley.
But before we get into that, we're Punch Talk and are bringing you daily combat sports videos, so if you enjoy the content, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. So right off the bat, a lot of people are quick to say Sean O'Malley is washed. He fell off after losing to Merab, which is very, very harsh, and it kind of shows the spot that the UFC is in and the recency bias. The guy is only 30 years old. He still has time to grow, to evolve. Merab is 34 years old. He's not going to be around forever necessarily. It's not like it's impossible for Sean to ever get his hands back on the title, but I don't really see it being too likely. But if we are to map out a way that he could climb back up, he's going to have to fight the top contenders in the division and actually work his way back up to the title shot this time, instead of just being thrown right back into it while sitting on the sidelines like what happened in the rematch. And bantamweight is very stacked, and there are a lot of tough stylistic matchups for Sean, especially on paper. The Umar Nurmagomedovs of the world, which Umar put up a good fight against Merab. He's gonna need another fight before he gets that title shot. So would that fight happen? It's definitely possible, but a very, very hard fight for Sean. That seems like a nightmare matchup. How great, how well-rounded Umar is, but it's definitely possible O'Malley can have success there. Other options are someone like Peter Yan, that rematch, another top contender at bantamweight, and they fought before. It was a close fight. It was highly contested. Many thought that Yan had done enough to win. That was only a 3-rounder in a great fight. And there's way more options for Sean O'Malley, but getting his hands back on the bantamweight title after losing 2 times in a row to the current champion, unless Merab somehow gets dethroned, he loses to someone else, we're probably not going to see O'Malley in the title shot at bantamweight anytime in the near future.
Yeah, it would definitely be a very tricky road for Sean to come back here now and try to fight for a title once again. It does seem like the UFC are definitely very inclined to give him a title shot, but now he's definitely going to have to build his way up there, and those guys that you mentioned would definitely be very hard stylistic matchups for him, and ones that fans probably wouldn't want to see, as it would just feel like it's going to be him taking more losses, him just falling down in the division, even though he's got this nice fan base still. So some guys that would maybe be a bit more exciting, a bit more of a strikers matchup that would be enjoyable, and a good fight could be Song Yadong, who is 2-1 in his last 3, having that loss to Piotr Yan by decision, but then having that win recently against Henry Cejudo, kind of a controversial one with the eye poke, but he was definitely going on to win that fight. Another guy out there who's been having some struggles at bantamweight is also Davison Figueiredo, who's on a 2-fight losing streak currently after losing to Yan and as well to Corey Sandhagen. And honestly, even Corey would have been a good one, but now it seems like UFC is definitely going that route for Merab to fight next for the title. So that would have been a fun matchup to see, 2 exciting strikers who have some very nice tools at their disposal and have some incredible highlight reel knockouts, but it seems like we're gonna have to wait some time to see that. Figueiredo could be a good one. Both of these fighters are on 2-fight losing streaks, so with Figueiredo being the smaller guy and 37 years old, it could be a good opportunity for Sean to get a win back, but Figueiredo is always still dangerous with the power he has. And maybe another potential one at bantamweight could be Triple C, who has called out Sean O'Malley once again. They have a long history of trash talking each other back and forth. Henry Cejudo was definitely on a sharp decline, having lost many fights up to this point, and is definitely not the same guy he was in his prime years. So this one definitely could be an exciting one, finally wrap up all the trash talk they've had, and one that could be viable for Sean to win.
Yeah, it's definitely been an interesting turn in Sean O'Malley's career, but let's not forget, just about 10 months ago or 9 months ago, he was the champion of the world. He was on top of the world defending his bantamweight title, and he's not too far away from still being at the top of this division. He's still a top-ranked contender, and honestly, with the way things have been looking at the top of the division with Merab being the champion and it seeming like he's probably going to defend for years to come, it's going to be tough for him to secure a trilogy against Merab, considering he's down 0-2, just got finished against him. He's really going to have to make a claim if he wants to get another title shot, but there are still fun, exciting matchups like you said in the division, but he could even go up a division. Featherweight isn't too out of the realm of possibility for Sean O'Malley. He is a pretty big guy for bantamweight. He's tall, lengthy, maybe not the strongest guy, but if he's able to put on some mass, able to to put on a bit of size, he could potentially make a run at featherweight and try to claim a championship there, try to make a run there. Volkanovski right now is the champion of the world at featherweight, and there are definitely exciting fights up there at featherweight. Exciting contenders like Gene Silva. Now, I don't know if Sean would want to take that because that is a very high risk, kind of low reward fight. A former opponent of his in Aljamain Sterling, there's a storyline there. Obviously, Aljo being Merab's teammate, that first fight going the way it did. But once you start to get to the top of the division, the Movsar Evloevs and the Volkanovskis, it's going to be very hard to break through and become a champion even there. But honestly, as crazy as it may sound to say, he probably has a better chance at beating Volkanovski at this point than he does at beating Merab. At least we've seen Volk get put away by good strikers, high level guys, even though that's a completely different level against guys that are way bigger than Sean, against guys that are very skilled in Islam and Ilia Topuria, literally top 2 pound for pound guys in the world. So a completely different situation, but still, I don't really see a way he beats Merab at this point in his career, but he is a bit younger. He has time to grow. It's really going to have to come down to his mentality, if he's able to stay strong, if he's able to rebuild, because sometimes guys can break. When you're a champion of the world and then you get dethroned, you lose 2 times in a row. This guy just took your spot, and it doesn't seem like you're going to be a champion anytime soon. That could really hurt your career if you really let it get to you, but we're just going to have to see what happens next for Sean.
Yeah, personally, I think Sean should maybe for now stay at bantamweight. He's a tall guy, but it's not like he's a big guy by any means, and it's not like he's gonna be so big for featherweight. And it would definitely be difficult for him to adjust there as well coming into that division. He's familiar with this division. He's beaten some high-level guys here as well. So I don't think it makes sense for him to move up right away. He's only lost to the champion, a guy who's been so dominant, who's been so amazing here. So it's not like he needs to pack it up right away and go to featherweight. There's definitely still potential for him here. He could get exciting fights. He can win fights. He could definitely surprise people. Of course, right now, the hype train on him isn't too high. People are going to say that he's not going to be able to stand too much of a chance. That's mostly recency bias as well. We're gonna have to see what adjustments he makes. He was definitely very focused coming into this fight, regardless of if he lost even worse than their first fight.
I've always felt like I'm a happy person, but I was like, my life is so, everything's so perfect. I should be even a little bit, I should be more happy. Like, what can I take away to add to my happiness, to my peace? And it was just, take away distractions. And that was just for me as a person, not necessarily as an athlete and want to be a better fighter. All that stuff will make me a better fighter, but it wasn't necessarily for that.
What's been on my mind is just getting this one back. That's all I've wanted, and I've done everything necessary to put myself in a position to be able to train and get back the belt.
He's still fairly young. He has the upside. He has the potential. It's just going to depend how he's able to bounce back from here and what adjustments he can make against some high-level guys. But I don't think the UFC should right away throw him to the top guys like an Umar, like a Piotr Jan, who are very tough stylistic matchups against him. Give him a guy who's more a striker. He can get his confidence back and get the feel of winning back. But we're going to have to see what they end up doing with his career and how long Sean ends up taking off. But let us know down below who you think is next for Sean O'Malley. And if you want to check out more on this fight, be sure to click on the screen. We need to talk about O'Malley versus Merab.